Here are the carburetors for my Honda Goldwing GL1000. It's a 1975. And at this point, the carburetors have been cleaned, new kits have been installed, and they're ready to be assembled together with the plenum here, or the air chamber. And if you're just interested in the reassembly, you can skip ahead to the end of the video, and I'll go through that fairly quickly. But before that, I'm going to go through each part, and might be a little bit overkill because I'm just learning this, and I want to try to gear the video towards other people who are just learning how to do this. Okay, first looking at the parts. These two intake manifolds, supposed to be 4 of them, but the previous owner ruined 2 of them by cutting through the rubber part. And you don't really need to do that. You can use a heat gun or a hair dryer to heat up the rubber, and it'll be warm and flexible. You'll get it off. Then it gets hard again, but you get a few minutes to work with it. Okay, here's the 4 carburetors, and they're in order: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the way the order is, it's the order that they fit on the crankshaft. So if you look at an engine, you notice that like a V8 engine or this one, posing for, the left and the right side are not directly across from each other. One is in front a little bit, and that's so that the connecting rods can, be attached in sequence. So on this engine, the right side, when we talk right or left on a motorcycle, it means as you're sitting on the bike. So the right side is a little bit in front. So the right front is the number 1. The next one would be the left front, number 2. Right rear, number 3. Left rear, number 4. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it's easier to understand why they're numbered that way than to try to memorize it. Okay, then we have the plenum or the airbox. That's these 2 pieces. And then we have a bunch of small pieces, and I'll go over each one of these. The whole idea is to get these 4 carburetors put together so that you have a choke and a throttle. So when you pull the choke, all 4 chokes close at the same time. And when you accelerate, turn the throttle, either on or off, all 4 throttles are in sync. The throttles are adjustable, but the choke isn't. I guess that's because the choke's only used when you first start the engine, and then once it's warmed up, the chokes are off. Okay, let's go over the order that I'm going to do this installation. First, I'm going to take number 2 and 4. Stick these out of the way for now. Okay, I'm going to mix them together. This is the choke, so it'll connect to the choke on the other one. There's a piece in there I'll show you in this box of parts. And then we're also going to connect the throttles right here. So we'll have they'll be connected together, and then we'll use this plate to hold them. See, it goes on like this. But we'll only hold them loosely. We won't tighten up too much at this point. Okay. Then these carburetors will be attached to the left side of the plenum. Okay, we do the same thing for carburetors 1 and 3. Connect them together, then connect them to the plenum, and then we'll connect the 2 plenum halves. And then using some more parts in here, we will connect the linkages for the choke and the throttle. Okay, well, let's take a look at all these little parts here. In here. Okay, let's take a look at the little parts that were in that tray here. First of all, this one here, and you can see these flat parts are off at a 90-degree angle from each other. They're for connecting the chokes on the two carburetors. There's one on the left side and one on the right side, same thing. Then there's a spring. This goes between the two pieces that connect the throttle. There's one on the left side and one on the right side. Okay, then we can put this plate on here. It goes up towards the outside of the carburetors, and it'll hold this will hold the left side on, this will hold the right side on. And they're secured with these screws here. Okay, now we got the two carburetors connected to each other. Then we want to connect them to the plenum. And the screen will go on the inside. And then 4 of these screws like this will go through and connect to the carburetor. Same thing on the other side. Okay, then you need to connect the left and the right side together. The plenum, the two plenum halves, and there's 5 screws here, Phillips head screws, and one's a little longer than the other. 3 go in one way and 2 go in the other way. Okay, that takes us down to these parts here. And right now we got all the carburetors attached to the plenum. The plenum has been put together. And now we want to attach the linkages for the left and the right 2 carburetors. The linkages for the throttle and for the choke. And for the throttle, there's 2 of these rods. There's one here. There's another one that I never took off. It's still in the plenum. Okay. And the way they connect, okay, there's a spring-loaded connection here. And they'll fit over connectors that look like this here. Like this here. They'll snap over there. And then there's 4 of them. There's 1 on each end of this and 1 on each end of this. This one I never took off. So it has a snap ring, E-clip, and a little thin nylon washer. And then there's 3 more one for the other end here and 2 more for here. I have 3 of these E-clips. I only have 1 more nylon washer. The other 2 are missing. One of them was kind of crumbled up. I saw it fall out when I took it apart. And I assume there's 2 more. I never saw them. But I tried to get some more and I couldn't find them. I measured them, and this inside hole is 3 millimeters. The outside is 8 millimeters, and the thickness is 1/2 millimeter. And I found this set on eBay, no, on Amazon, And it has M3, that's the inside. It's M3 by 7 by 1 millimeter. Well, it's a little bit too thick, and the 7 is a little bit too small on the outside diameter. So I tried checking it, and then I measure this, and it's not 7, it's only 6. And when I tried putting one of these on, I tried putting this on, and then I couldn't get the snap ring in far enough. So it's not going to work. I need 8 millimeters in the outside. This little ball here, this measures 6 millimeters. So if you put this on, and then you put a snap ring on to hold it. Here, I can show you back here. The snap ring to hold it. That little felt washer has to be a little bit bigger than this hole. This hole is around 6 millimeters. So that's just not going to work. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put it together without the fiber washer or nylon washer and keep looking for one. Oh, here's a couple dowels I didn't mention. And they go between the two plenum halves to line them up. Okay, so that takes care of the throttle linkages. And we're not going to use this. So we have these 3 E-clips. This fiber washer. Now, this is the linkage for the choke, and we have 3 sets of fasteners on it with cotter pins, washers, and what have you. And the way you can tell them apart is the inside diameter is the same on each one of these, is different on each one of these. This is the smallest one, it's a little bit bigger, and on carburetor number 3, yeah, that's where this one goes. So this is the largest one. So on this one here, we'll put the this nylon flanged washer on. It'll go on first, and then this, then the washer with the larger hole, and then the cotter pin. So that'll take care of this part, and this, and this. Okay, this choke linkage, you'll see it has a little, it's on this end, has a little nub on it, and that goes through a similarly shaped hole here on carburetor number 3. And then we're going to put a small washer, spring, large washer, goes through like this, cotter pin. So that will take care of these. You'll see coming up is will be the assembly. Okay, next is this other shaft, and you know it has a hole in it for the cotter pin. So we're going to put this this collared nylon washer, spring, metal washer, and cotter pin. And that's all the parts. So next we'll start putting them together. Okay, well now that we're familiar with the parts, let's go ahead and start the assembly. And I'm going to start with the number 2 and 4 carburetors and connecting these two shafts. These are for the throttle. And to do that, I'm going to show you up close because my hands will probably be in the way during the actual assembly. And there's this part right here. There's a spring and there's 2 washers. And what I want to do is separate these 2 washers and slide this U-shaped part in between the 2 washers. And then try to keep it in there without falling out again, because there's really nothing holding it at this point. Okay, and I'm going to use this little U-shaped part kind of like a tool to separate the 2 washers, because I don't have another arm to pry this open with. Okay, it's in there. I'll keep it from falling out. Now I'm going to put this part in. This is for the choke. It's the bottom here, and let me try to show it without losing this part here. And on this side here, the number 4 carburetor, there's a spring holding the choke open. So what you can do is you can reach around with your left hand and open up the other choke, and then that'll line up these 2 shafts so that the little slots are 90 degrees apart, and we can put this piece in. All the time being careful that this doesn't come back out. Okay, got the number 2 carburetor choke open. Okay, they're together now. And I'm going to hold them and open this up just a little bit. The spring has to go in here, and I don't want anything to fall apart, so. Okay, the spring is in there. So far, so good. I'm going to use this piece to hold everything together. And this is a 1975, so there's another one, but they're the same. And I think in the 76 and 77, there was a left and a right-hand side. So I'll go ahead and put these screws on. And this one is not quite lined up, so I'll have to compress the spring a little bit to get it. Meanwhile, not losing that bottom part where the choke is. I'm not going to tighten them up. I'm not sure if it matters that much or not, but they might have to be able to have a little bit of play when I'm connecting them to the plenum. But it's fairly stable now, and the spring and nothing's going to fall out. So next we want to connect the carburetors to this plenum. And to start off doing that, we'll put the hoses on first. Because it's a little hard to get the hoses on afterwards. Okay, the hoses are on. Now, we have to put an O-ring here, or gasket, and there's a couple of washers that go in here. The O-rings came in a kit. I mean, they're round, but we'll squeeze them in this slot here. And I had to use the old gasket, but it's still in good shape, of the old washer here. So I'll put them in here next. I probably should have put these washers on, or these O-rings on before I hook those hoses up. Okay, there's one. Let's get the other one. Okay. Now we'll put the screen, figure out which one it is. So, screens are slightly different, but only one will fit. Okay. So we'll put the screws in and bend these tabs over, to keep them from coming back out again. And then we'll do the same thing with number 1 and 3 carburetors. Connect them and then attach them to the plenum. And I'll do that offline because it's pretty much the same thing as this side. Here are the 2 carburetors that are attached now. From the left side, number 2 and 4. And I did put a new gasket on here. There's a little more sealing surface on this one. Although the other one might have still been good. And now what we want to do is attach number 1 and 3. I assembled these offline. But we need to connect them together now. And to do that, we need these 2 dowels. And there's 5 number 6 screws with number 3 Phillips head. One of the screws is a little bit longer. 3 goes in from one side and 2 go in from the other side. And I'll do that off camera too. Well, the carburetors are all attached now. And we started to run a little low on parts. That's good. We got a few linkages. This is the throttle linkage. Here's the other one I never really took off. And choke linkage. Another little choke linkage. And a bunch of little parts. So they're all going to go in the front, so I'm going to change the angle of the camera. The background might be a little more cluttered, but I want to show it right from the front, or actually the back. This is the back. As you sit on the bike, this is the back of your carburetor. Okay, I think you can see a little better here. And we're going to do the choke linkages first because they're underneath the throttle linkages. Okay. And we'll put this little piece on. And you'll see one end has a little hole for a cotter pin, and the other end has this little nub. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for a place that has the same shaped hole. And put the end with a little nub in that hole. And move it up on top. That's where it'll be when we do the assembly. There's a little teeny tiny washer. It's actually 2 of them, but one goes on now. It's like this, and it'll go on the other end of that shaft that we just put on, that short shaft. Okay, next there's a flanged washer, and it'll go on here on number 3 carburetor. Right here, the only shaft it'll fit on. And this piece of linkage for the choke looks like this. And this is where the choke cable hooks onto. And here's the pivot point. So when you pull the lever, this end works the right hand carburetors, and this other end works the left hand carburetors. So we can put that on now. And this round hole is going to go over that nylon wash that we just put on. And the other end is going to go on the choke assembly on the other side. Okay, then we're going to put a little spring. We got 2 little springs like this. One of them is going to go up here on this choke lever. And the other one's going to go on first. We put this little tiny washer, little tiny flanged washer. And that's going to go on here before the spring. Kind of jumping from one side to the other. Then the spring, and then the flat washer, and a cotter pin. And over here in this other choke shaft, with a little tiny washer, the other one, it'll go on top of the spring. And then cotter pin. And finally, this larger washer that'll go on this shaft for that's on the number 3 carburetor, and a cotter pin. Okay, the choke linkage is on now. This is where the throttle cable will connect. So when you pull it, all 4 chokes open. And I did notice there's a little screw here for adjusting the chokes. You can synchronize the the left and the right pairs of carburetor chokes, but I don't think you can synchronize the ones on the same side. So anyway, here's this little screw. And next we're going to work on the throttle linkage. Here's one here, and it has this type of a spring-loaded. There's a little spring in here, and there's this hole here, and it snaps over these type of fittings. So one's going to go on here. Open this spring, and snap snap it over, okay? Now we have 3 little teeny tiny E-clips. And a nylon washer. Here's the little E-clips. Here's a nylon washer. And so you put the washer on. I guess to hold it from coming off, although they're on there pretty good. So we'll do that at this point. And then we'll connect these 2 on this side. And we'll do the same thing. Being very careful not to lose those little teeny tiny E-clips. They could go flying across the garage quite easily. Okay, well that just about wraps it up. I put this E-clip on. And the nylon washer under it. And on the other side, I'm missing 2 of the washers. So I got them on back order and I just snapped it on. It's on pretty good, but I don't have the E-clips on it yet. So when the washers come in, I'll put them on. And so now we got throttle working on both sides and the clutch working on both sides. We can put these on next, or we could wait till the carburetor's in place. It might be better to wait. It'd be a little easier to get the carburetors in. And the carburetors still need to be synced as far as the throttle is concerned. And you can do some of the preliminary sync on the workbench. And there's an excellent video out there by Robert Kramer. And in fact, he has a lot of excellent videos. And he shows how to sync them on the workbench, which will get them pretty close. And you do the final syncing when the bike is running. So look up his video, Robert Kramer, or Kramer's Garage. And there's a lot of good videos there on the GL1000. Okay, well that about does it for this video. Thank you for watching.